is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sun.
Last night, the battery of Chris Archer and Kurt Casale put on a show at Tropicana Field, with Archer working 6 2/3 scoreless innings, and Casale driving in both runs in a 2-0 Rays victory. Tonight, right-hander Jake Odorizzi goes to the hill against Chris Davis and the Baltimore Orioles. Welcome to Tropicana Field. Tonight, the homestand continues, and this 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles moves into Game 2 between the Rays and Baltimore. Rays winners last night 2-0. They've won 6 of their last 9. Hi again, everyone. With Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you with us here at Tropicana Field for an evening of Rays baseball. Well, the victory last night, the Rays scored only 2 runs, but if their offense is going to be what they think they have, Steven Souza Jr. is going to have to be a big part of that. He is showing signs of being exactly that.
A very good streak right now, a 5-game hitting streak for Steven Souza Jr. If you go back, last 19 at-bats, he's got 7 hits, a couple of home runs. We saw those in New York. And the thing that you like about Souza Jr., he's got very strong hands, and the swing is a direct path to the baseball. And when he makes contact, that ball will jump off of the bat. Tremendous exit speed off of his bat because of those strong hands and the strong swing. Listen, this guy's swinging the bat hot right now. We know that he can be streaky, and let's keep it going.
Well, the Rays will send Jake Odorizzi to the hill tonight. Jake looking for his first win of the year. When you think of Tropicana Field, you think of a pretty good ballpark in which to pitch. We'll see how the home and road splits break for Jake Odorizzi when Todd Callis returns right after the break.
Rays try to get to 500 tonight for just the second time this season, with Jake Odorizzi making his 5th start of the year, taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Jake grew up in the Midwest, but his favorite temperature to pitch in must be 72 degrees because Jake loves pitching inside Tropicana Field. In fact, in our Toyota Inside Look, you'll see that his ERA is exactly 1/2 of what it is when he's on the road. This is over 32 starts since the beginning of 2014. In 23 of those 32, he's allowed 5 hits or fewer, and in 19 of those 32, he's allowed 1 earned run or fewer. Odorizzi knows to keep those numbers going, he's going to have a big challenge on his hand with the Baltimore lineup.
Just a lot of diversity, a lot of right-left combinations, veteran hitters. You know, they do have a lot of power. That's one thing they do. They have the capability of hitting the ball out of the park at any time. So you just have to, work your way through the lineup, navigate, and just focus on the guy who's in the box because, there's a lot of guys in that lineup that can hurt you if you're not focused.
They are a thick lineup 1 through 9. The Rays looking for a 3rd win in a row. They will face Ubaldo Jimenez for the Baltimore Orioles as we get you ready for baseball on this Tuesday night. Odorizzi versus Jimenez. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with all the action right around the corner on Fox Sports Zone.
Tonight, the Rays start 2.5 games back of Baltimore in the American League East. Jake Odorizzi goes to the mound trying to even his career mark against Baltimore. He comes in 2-3 in his career against the Orioles and in search of his first win this year. Buck Showalter's club 11-7. The Rays are 9-10, and here is the Baltimore lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Joey Rickard's going to lead it off in left, followed by Adam Jones and Manny Machado. Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, and J.J. Hardy down the middle. Pedro Alvarez, the DH, followed by Jonathan Scope and Caleb Joseph.
And well, for Jake Odorizzi, it's going to be mixing the 4 pitches and using the entire strike zone. You see the numbers on the season.
And just like Todd pointed out, you know, coming in to this ball game, much better at home over the course of his career, and especially this year, ERA under 1 in this building.
First pitch of this game is a called strike. He starts Rickard with a fastball in there. Rickard hitting .289 on the year. It's 1-1. Jake has the jump on him now. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And certainly setting the pace here tonight. I mean, he's coming through with his follow through and then walking right back, catching that ball right on the rubber, ready to go.
Upstairs, 2-2. Boy, you love to see a pitcher do that. He's aggressive, sets the tempo of the game, takes charge of every pitch.
That's the key, the take charge part. That's what you got to do.
Fly ball lifted into left. Jennings will move toward the line and put it away. 1 away.
Well, let's go ahead and set the Rays defense for you here tonight. Brought to you once again by Gold and Diamond Source in the outfield left to right. We have Jennings, Kiermaier, and Souza Jr. and across that infield third to first, Longoria, Miller, Forsythe, and Morrison with Kurt Casale behind the plate.
Kevin Cash, happy to see his club get home, coming in off of an 8-1 win over the Yankees to wrap up the last road trip, and then post the victory last night here and get a good outing from Chris Archer. 1-0 the count here is Adam Jones up in the number 2 spot. You can see lifetime hitting .400 against Odorizzi through 20 at bats, including a home run. 2-0.
Well, when you have a hitter with numbers like that against you, you go back and look, is there a common theme? What can I do differently to give him a different look, make him uncomfortable? And that's all it really comes down to. That's where you get the game within the game of adjustments. There's a track record now. There's a body of work. Where am I stumbling and what can I do differently?
You know, they talk about upsetting the timing of a hitter. That in and of itself is uncomfortable. So that all goes hand in hand with the pitcher. And you know more about that than any of the rest of us, what it's like facing these major league hitters and trying to upset that timing.
That really is what it is. You're thinking about, if you're not a big strikeout guy, you're trying to miss the barrel. Other guys are trying to miss the bat. Either way, you've got to execute, make quality pitches. You've got a game plan coming in. Both sides do, and it comes down to execution. But in certain instances like this, that game plan will evolve and change over time because of success or lack of success.
And he got down 3-1 to Jones in that pitch that he fouled off. A little extra on it from Odorizzi, up around 93 on that one.
Well, Jake has a tremendous rising fastball. That's why he can pitch at the top of the strike zone and above as well as anybody in the game without throwing 97, 98. His ball just does not come down like most. Tremendous spin rate. And he is very good with the elevated heater.
Into center field. That's going to send Kiermaier all the way to the track. He makes the catch. Kiermaier, a leaping grab as he hit the warning track, reaching up to take that one away from Adam Jones. Victimized again by Kiermaier, and that great grab out there in center field.
Hit it to the wrong guy. This ball well stroked. Kiermaier shading a little bit to right center, kind of counts his steps, eye on the ball, jump, and finish off a tremendous catch.
A star by that one as Kiermaier backhanded that out of his leap for the second out. Here's a bouncing ball foul up the right side by Machado. Machado coming in the second leading hitter in the league at .360. Jams him and it's popped up. Casale didn't quite get that mask far enough away, but didn't bother him. He makes the catch in fair territory. So 3 up, 3 down. Here's out number 2, and a fine grab in center by Kiermaier. Here's the lineup put together by Kevin Cash, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe leading it off, and Brad Miller's up in the number 2 spot in front of Evan Longoria, Corey Dickerson, the DH, Desmond Jennings, and then Logan Morrison hits 6th in front of Steven Souza Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, and Kurt Casale.
And for this lineup, find the release point. Ubaldo Jimenez is going to give you an awful lot to look at. Very deceptive delivery. A lot of movement. Find the release point and force him into the strike zone, because he has a tendency to get wild.
There's a lot of things going on with him.
Yeah, a lot to break down here tonight, Dwayne.
1-0 the count to Forsythe. Lifts it toward right center field. Trumbo on the run. It's over his head. A hop into the wall. Forsythe going to hang on in second with the double, number 6 on the year. And the Rays are off and running.
Well, got enough carry on that one to elude Mark Trumbo. You know, getting used to playing the outfield. He's not going to cover as much ground as maybe some other guys, but a center cut fastball right there. And Logan Forsythe waits on it a long time and then shoots it out there deep and clears it.
Logan continues to swing. A very good bat for the Rays. There's Brad Miller. Into the dirt. Wild pitch, and over to third goes Forsythe. 1-0 the count to Miller. Well, we mentioned a lot of moving parts with the delivery of Ubaldo Jimenez. And a wild pitch thrown here to move a man to third.
When you saw the breaking ball grip, he just yanks that down and in. Surprisingly enough, first wild pitch of the season. But that is always a risk, and especially with the runner on third now.
So a great opportunity. Miller fouls a fastball the opposite way. Out of play. Fouled again with a fastball.
Brad Miller getting his first opportunity here out of the number 2 hole, and he's got a chance to make it productive right now.
You know, Miller's only one of 4 hitters in the Rays lineup tonight to have faced Jimenez.
Yeah.
And another foul ball. He's 0 for 3 against him.
Yeah,
Longoria's 2 for 9. Jennings 2 for 10. Morrison 3 for 3.
May of 14 was the last time he pitched against the Rays. So you're talking a couple of seasons ago.
Hit wide. 2-2. Ron Culpa is calling the balls and strikes. And if you're a pitcher and you show him you can be consistent, he'll give you the pitch. He's a pretty consistent guy back there behind the plate. Ground ball chopped to first, then scooped by Davis. No chance for Forsythe. And Miller is the first out.
Let's take a quick look at the Baltimore Oriole defense and see how it lines up here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Joey Rickard, Adam Jones, and Mark Trumbo. And across the infield, third to first, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and Chris Davis with Caleb Joseph behind the plate.
Evan Longoria with a chance to put the Rays on top. Pitch in. Infield up a bit, not all the way, but they're in a bit.
Well, you figure the ball coming off Evan Longoria's bat, if he strikes it solidly, it's going to get out to them quick enough to be able to make a play. If not, you take the out.
It's 1-1. Forsythe double, wild pitch to third. Ground ball short. Hardy's going to come to the plate with the throw, and Forsythe is out.
That's why you don't play him all the way in that situation against Evan Longoria. You give him a little bit of range by moving him back just a hair and playing him halfway, and figure a guy like Longoria is going to put one on the ground. It's going to get to these guys in a hurry. That's exactly what happened. Deep enough, but look, it gets quick, and then you still make the play.
So Longoria is now at first with Forsythe the second out at the plate. And here's Corey Dickerson. Whips a fly ball into center. Jones is waiting for it. And the Rays threaten but do not score. On to the second, scoreless. The second, tonight's Rays broadcast can make you a winner. Enter now for a chance at tonight's Rays Up to Win prize. 2 field side box tickets and 2 autographed jerseys signed by Logan Forsythe. Winner's name will be shown live on the air in the 8th inning Just visit RaysBaseball.com/RaysUpToWin to enter. Go online now to register. Rays Up. There's a first pitch strike to Chris Davis. Two.
Well, if you are going to be down in the zone against Davis, that's where you want it, on the outside edge and just off.
Fouls it out of play. Rays with that big shift on for Davis. See everything away from him. Ball, 2 strikes. Two and two now. Holding at 2 balls, 2 strikes, fouling off an off-speed pitch. Fly ball, center field, off speed, and right there's Kiermaier waiting. That big bat out in front there.
That's something else that Jake Odorizzi does very well, is he can not only pitch up and down, he can change speeds very well. You think about the fastball going to the split change. You've seen a little bit more of the curveball, a slider now and then.
Trumbo takes a first pitch strike.
Speaking of which, there it is.
10-game hitting streak for Trumbo. Singled his first time up last night to extend that. 0-2. Back keeping that ball away from him. He's now the top hitter in the American League ahead of his teammate Manny Machado. A 1-2 punch for the Orioles. Ball, 2 strikes. Up the middle, and it's going to be over the head of Forsythe and into center.
Tell you what, a nice job by Mark Trumbo. A 2-strike approach, and he stayed inside that fastball that was meant to be in. Didn't quite get in as far as Jake would have wanted, but Trumbo, a nice job pulling the hands through, staying inside the baseball, and going up the middle the other way. Ball inner third, but you see how he cut down on the swing and just stayed inside it, didn't overdo things. That's how you hit 366 plus some.
J.J. Hardy pitches outside.
I want to see if he can get those hands any lower. You know, he said that he likes his hands low. He will mess with his swing quite a bit. Couldn't have him as low as he wanted last year because of his shoulder injury, but says he's feeling good this year, and he's got him way down there now.
And a foul ball back on that fastball. When you see a guy with his hands low like that, you think, well, you could get the ball by him. He's got to get those hands up into a hitting, firing position.
They do. A hitter's hands with that much movement that low start to invite the fastball up and in.
Now 1-2. Runner at first. Trumbo, he's singled with 1 out.
Well, and I'm sure he's well aware of that too, so has a game plan to fight against anything like that. That's a pitch a lot of times that doesn't get called. You just discipline yourself to lay off of it, or try to.
Liner into left. Jennings cannot cut it off. Trumbo goes to third. They'll hold him there. It's a double for Hardy. So he gets a line drive, 2-base hit. And the Orioles have their first scoring opportunity.
Well, they elect to go soft with Hardy on this particular pitch. There's the split, and that right into the swing. He's able to get out, around, and wrap it down into the corner.
Pedro Alvarez. He goes after that pitch up and misses. Alvarez had been struggling, but he came up last night, singled his first time up in the third, then doubled in the fifth. Finished the night 2 for 3. Takes it out of the zone up. It's 1-1.
Well, if you ever needed a strikeout, this is the spot. You can't even think about it until you get to 2 strikes. Just execute one at a time.
Ball takes it to 1-2. Toyota keys to success. See, as a team, the Orioles tops with men in scoring position at 314. They lead the major leagues in that category.
But Jake has a chance here to go for that strikeout. You've got a hitter at the plate that lacks plate discipline.
He's off speed pitch down and away.
He wants to swing the bat, especially in RBI situations, and he will expand the zone. We saw that from the first pitch of the at bat. So we got a chance to get one here.
Fouls the fastball back.
I think you can go right back, middle of the plate, top of the strike zone, and maybe a couple inches above. And there's no way he's laying off that pitch. Not 2 in a row. You can take that shot twice. I want it down.
And it's ball 3. So the count is full. Trumbo at third, Hardy at second. Jake coming off that 5-run first inning his last time out Thursday in Boston when he made 37 pitches. And the Rays came out winners eventually, 12-8 in that one. 3-2. He got it. He went up, strikes him out.
He eventually got back to that, maybe wasted a couple on the way. But that was the play right there. You had a guy in swing mode anyway, and he's just not going to be able to get to that fastball at the top of the zone. This one just barely got a piece of it. That's the best that he can do on that pitch. And he did pick up a huge strikeout.
Here's the second baseman, Jonathan Schoop. Lays off the first pitch down and in. Schoop with power. Has been a swing and miss guy. Struck out twice last night, but can be dangerous up there. And actually put together a very good year last year offensively for the Orioles. Pitch coming in on him, and it's fouled.
Well, top to bottom, I mean, maybe the most dangerous lineup, or at least one of the most dangerous lineups in all of baseball with power potential. Schoop gives you that. Rays have seen that firsthand this year already. And he's down in the 8-hole.
And very aggressive normally down there. Fouls it. It's 1-2.
Jake hasn't come into the zone yet. And he's up in the count.
That's being very aggressive. A pitch away from getting out of this jam. Into the dirt, blocked by Casale.
Yeah, very nicely done too. A 2-strike breaking ball, that not an easy block, not a short hop. Runner on third.
Two from Odorizzi. Now it's a full count. Well, Jake had a 14-pitch first inning. He's made 27 pitches here in the second. And here's a nice stop by Casale. Reaching across and fouling it away. So we'll see another 3-2 pitch. One of the things Odorizzi had hoped to accomplish tonight is to limit that pitch count per inning. Just a little of that one foul.
Well, so far he's not been able to do that. First things first, you got to get out of this inning, but that's what made him so successful last year, getting deeper into games, which is one of his goals. Cutting down on the pitches per inning allowed him to average over 6 innings to start.
3-2, skied into center. Kiermaier there to make the catch. A scoreless second. 2 men left in scoring position. No score through an inning and a half. Sports Sun brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory Ram. By Bright House Networks. Visit brighthhouse.com. By your local Toyota dealers. And by Furman, the Bay Area's first name in Chevrolet. Desmond Jennings begins the home half of the second inning. And he takes a breaking ball in there for a strike. Logan Morrison next, and then Steven Souza Jr. Down to third, even with the bag. Machado's throw to first, right on the money. One away. Braves and the Orioles going at it here tonight. Boston has a 4-1 lead on Atlanta in the bottom of the first in Atlanta. Travis Shaw hit a 3-run home run. David Price is pitching that game for Boston. Yankees play the Rangers in Texas a little later. Logan Morrison. First pitch is a strike. Morrison in there hitting sixth, 3 for 3 lifetime against Ubaldo Jimenez. It's been a tough start for Morrison.
That's why you see this change being made by Kevin Cash, the flip-flop, Miller and Morrison. Different look for each of them. He said, listen, he wants to try to get these guys going.
Well, you know, when the year's over, they're not going to hit their current averages, that's for sure. And the Rays want and need some offense from them. That's going to be a fair ball. Down to the corner. Morrison on his way to second, and he is in there with the stand-up double. It's his second double of the year. And he's 4 for 4 against Jimenez in his career, and getting some support right there from the dugout.
Well, took full advantage. You know, Ubaldo Jimenez up in the count, tries to go away, and that allows you. When that pitch is got a little elevation and away, it makes it easier on the swing. You see, he just reaches out for it, goes the other way. Nobody's down there. It's a great start. Another good start to the inning too. Let's see if the Rays can cash in this time.
I'll tell you, for the start he's had, he's been a model teammate and citizen. I'll tell you, that's not easy to go through.
A new team,
yep,
and a new fan base with high expectations. No, it's not.
You got to give him a lot of credit for that. So maybe that's the start of something there. That doubled his first time up tonight. Steven Souza Jr. trying to get him home. 1-1 the count. Morrison goes to third. It's a pitch thrown into the dirt. He was breaking, so he's going to get a stolen base. So he steals third. So the count goes to 2-1.
But you know, that's something you typically don't see. You know, you don't want to make that first or third out at third base, but they weren't paying any attention to Morrison. He was going to swipe that regardless. Really, the only question after the ball was delivered to the plate, would he be able to pop up and score?
So he's down at third. 2-1 to count on Souza Jr. Three balls and a strike.
Looked like Caleb Joseph got crossed up, much like I did. There is an out in this inning, so that's what you would steal it there. A smart move by Morrison, especially with the simple fact that no one's holding him on, and Jimenez wasn't even looking. But that pitch looked to be a pretty good pitch that got boxed by Caleb Joseph.
And there's ball 4. The Rays put men at first and third. Well, Jimenez in the past has been guilty of being a little lax when it comes to combating the running game. There are opposing runners who've taken advantage of that, and Morrison did right there.
Well, think about it. I mean, even if he's a guy that's going to try to speed up his delivery to the plate through a shortened leg kick, you still have that arm swing. That all takes time. And so he's at a disadvantage already. Then you've got two middle infielders that aren't paying Logan Morrison any mind because he's not typically a base stealer. and you set yourself up for a guy with a walking lead that's going to swipe it pretty easily.
Another opportunity for the Rays. Kevin Kiermaier at the plate, first and third, one out. Now a move to first on Souza Jr. Morrison with a double and a steal of third. Morrison last year with Seattle did steal 8 bases. So if you don't pay attention to him, he'll take advantage of it, and he did by stealing third tonight. Fastball in there for a strike.
This is only Jimenez's 4th start, early in his 4th start of the season, and already 6 out of 7 opposing base stealers.
One ball, one strike. Puts Kiermaier behind in the count. Kurt Casale is on deck. Covered up by Joseph. 2-2. An eye on Souza Jr. It's popped up. Foul ball. Joseph gonna have room and makes the catch. Two gone. And it will be up to Kurt Casale if the Rays are to score in this inning. Came up with a big base hit, a double in the 5th inning last night. And later was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to get another run home. The double scored Souza Jr. from first base last night.
Had him moving on a full count. That was an at-bat that Kurt Casale was down early and had to fight back to a full count. And then with the runner in motion, put it in a great spot. Turned out to be the difference.
Kurt Casale takes a strike. Double by Morrison. Steal of third. Souza walked. 2 outs now, and a strike to count on Kurt Casale. One and one. Right there on the fastball, just at the knees.
Trying to work the bottom of the strike zone with the fastball. That's right there at the borderline. Upstairs. 2-2.
Ground ball down to third. Machado goes to first. The Rays with an opportunity, but leave runners on the corners. No score after 2. We go to the third. The Republic Bank draft room exclusively for Rays season ticket holders blends hospitality and comfort, offering local craft beers and themed signature food items. It's Tropicana Field's newest destination area exclusively for Rays season ticket holders. It's the Republic Bank draft room. Call 888-FAN-RAYS for information. Our own Doug Wechter was in there before the game, the former Rays pitcher, signing autographs and regaling fans. Caleb Joseph takes the pitch down. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a strike. Joseph getting a start behind the plate tonight. Odorizzi coming off the 30-pitch second inning. So through 2, his pitch count was at 44. And you mentioned his pitch count last year. It went from about 18, not quite 18 and a half pitches to 16.3 last year. That's quite a drop, 2 pitches an inning.
It is, and that's what allowed him to go from just over or just at 5 1/3 innings a start to over 6 innings. So he averaged getting into the 7th inning. That's huge difference. And that's why he made it a priority, because through his first 4 starts this year, he was averaging right around 18 pitches an inning. So I need to get that back down a little bit.
Well, there he is, 3-2 to Joseph. Ground ball through the right side. Well, they had Forsythe shaded behind the bag at second towards short. And in that open area is where Joseph hit the ball.
Well, that's where you get victimized. There's a ton of room on that right side. As you see, there's Logan Forsythe. And, you know, off the bat, sometimes if you're not aware that the shift has been put on, ball comes off the bat and you're like, sweet. Had to work hard for it, but I got myself an out. You turn around and there's nobody there. That's frustrating.
Well, he had 4 full counts the first time through the order. Second time through starts now with Joey Rickard. Shortens, taking a pitch down and away out of the zone. Rickard out on a fly ball to left his first time. Shortens again and takes ball 2. Rizzi is behind, missing with a fastball that time. Finds a zone. 2-1. Rookie outfielder out of the Rays system, Rickard. Bunts, pops it up foul, and that's going to be all the way out of play over the screen.
There's an awful lot of thinking going on in this at bat. Couple of square around, take a ball, take 2, take a fastball right down the middle, then bunt on 2-1.
Nobody out. Check and a foul ball. On deck, Adam Jones. He's up in the number 2 spot in their lineup. And a full count. So another one of those.
That's half the lineup now. 5 out of 10. That certainly does not help the pitch count.
It's been a frustrating start to this game for Odorizzi. Runner goes. Pitch hit on the ground. Foul. Bobby Dickerson with the pickup, their third base coach. Runner goes again, and another foul ball just outside of third. So Rickard extending this at bat. A full count, 8 pitches in. Rays have had a couple of opportunities to score, have missed on those. Orioles left a couple men in scoring position in the second. Move to first this time on Caleb Joseph.
Well, Buck Showalter has an awful lot of faith on Joey Rickard to be able to recognize a ball and take a walk or put the ball in play, because Caleb Joseph does not have a stolen base in his career. And so if you imagine right here a swing and a miss, Rays would have a good chance to get a strike him out thrown out if he's going once again.
He goes and stops. Fly ball short center. Kiermaier coming in straight ahead to make the catch. And finally Rickard is retired. Took 9 pitches to get him. And that's the first out. So Odorizzi really had to work for that one.
Number 10, the center fielder, Adam Jones.
It's Adam Jones. Jones retired on the great catch by Kiermaier on the warning track in the first. Batting again in the third. The pitch a little bit off. A ball and no strikes. Out of play foul. 1-1. Odorizzi had a 1-2-3 first, but Jones went to 3-2 with him in the count and then threatened to get an extra base hit when Kiermaier took it away. A 30-pitch second inning for Odorizzi. 1 on, 1 out in the third. And that takes the count to 2-1.
Well, there have been an awful lot of those counts too. 2-1. Jake Odorizzi just having trouble right now being able to lock up that fastball positioning. To his credit, he has found a way to battle and get outs. Just hasn't been that easy.
2-2.
That's a nice pitch to be able to go to.
I'll tell you. You know, you're struggling, you get yourself behind, and here's the split.
That's that great shot of how long that ball stayed in the zone just above the knees.
Liner into left. That ball will be caught by Jennings. And back to first goes Joseph. He hit that fastball hard.
Well, Desmond Jennings playing a little bit further back. He didn't have a lot of room to have to cover there. That ball was hit well, but a few steps back, make a catch. 1 out away from getting out of this.
Well, Manny Machado fouled out to Casale. Actually popped out to Casale because he caught the ball in fair territory in the first. And to strike, Casale actually threw his mask into fair territory and wound up standing right on top of it when he made that catch. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Chris Coors Light. You see where Manny Machado ranks second in hitting with a .355 average right now. You just look at the offensive leaderboard. Across the board, you find his name.
Everything on that list, and it was quite a list in the top 3.
2-1. It's a big rip, fouling it back. Pitch up enough. Caught a lot of the plate, but was up. Potential trouble on deck, and Davis. Two, and another full count. Six full counts now. And they've all been to different hitters. Three-two to Machado. Runner goes, and Machado fouls it. See the 30-pitch second inning up to 26 in the third. That first inning of 14 is what he's looking for. 3-2 again. Shot into right. That will be caught by Souza. Fastball hit to the right fielder. No runs following the leadoff base hit, and a man left on base. See Machado lining it to right. Souza Jr. makes the catch. Scoreless.
Postgame, bottom half of the third inning. We are joined by the principal owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, Stu Sternberg. Stu, good to see you as always here at Tropicana Field.
And great to see you as well.
Before we talk baseball, pretty nice event today, huh? With the Chamber of Commerce St. Petersburg luncheon.
It was a tremendous event. We had close to 400 people over. All the business and civic leaders throughout Pinellas and Hillsborough people were over as well, and it was a great day, great event. Kevin Cash was there. We had 4 players there. I spoke, but fortunately, a number of the other people spoke, kept it interesting, and it was really a well-attended, sold-out event. So.
Seemed like a lot of positivity. You said you heard from a lot of people there.
Yeah. All right. I guess I did that as a kid too. Yeah, it really was. It was a lot of all Rays, and everybody's excited and realized that there's more that everybody could be doing and supporting the team and trying to get behind it. And basically, it was please keep the team in Tampa Bay, and we want to be here. And I assured them that that's the way it's going to happen.
Like to hear it. Let's talk about the field now and what's been going on. I know in spring training you said it was hard for you to pinpoint where this team was going to be. You maybe had a wider swath of possibilities than you had in the past. What are your thoughts 20 games in?
It feels good. The bullpen has done well so far. That's always the big question mark. We had maybe a hiccup in a game or two, but for the most part the bullpen's done its job. The starters, you don't want to ever take them for granted, and I think at the very beginning it was a tad shaky, and especially Archer, but overall it's been great. Erasmo obviously has been the guy who's helped make it all come together, and the bats, there's enough there to see, especially with Dickerson, and even Morrison with his nothing short of atrocious start. You could see it. I mean, he hit a ball of Betances the other day on the line, and eventually those things square themselves away. The field has been great. The outfield has been doing a great job. Like to see some more out of the catchers, obviously. But I think that every team in the East and, most of baseball has, got some shortcomings, but overall, feel good about it. We've been very healthy, which is nice.
Logan Forsythe with a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the third. Do you write BB or W, or what do you?
I'm a BB guy, but you'll excuse me while I write.
BB for Logan here as Brad Miller bats. Are
you a W guy?
No, BB. BB, I like it. IBB or BB, that works. Hey, I don't reverse the Ks. I rate KC or KS, kind of literal there. Brad Miller batting 2, so we see a little switch in that order, and see how maybe a new spot will get them both going.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just a 2-holes curse, because it would have been nice to Miller get the run in the first inning, but and Morrison's done well at 6. Sometimes you just change things up for the sake of changing up, but it's been great. If this is the biggest sort of issue we have with the lineup last year, if you remember, we had players shuttling in and out and up and down and all which ways. Joey Butler, I don't know when he started with us, and he'd come up and did a great job, but having the guys healthy and being concerned about their spot in the lineup is a good problem to have.
It is a good problem as Brad Miller bats with a 1-1 count. He hits one well to right field.
Not a problem.
Off the wall. Forsythe to third, Miller to second with a double. The Rays have something going here, second and third, with nobody out. So Stu, good start to the inning.
As I said, 2 is a great spot to be in the order. Yeah.
Now, we saw the first inning, runner on third, nobody out. Second inning, first and third, 1 out. Time to get some runs home as you take a look at Brad Miller here. Take us through that.
He got it up in the zone. He pulled it. He's got some real pop, right? I mean, he's hit a couple of balls out there. He likes it up, I guess, a little bit. I would like to see Evan take a couple of pitches here. It's been jumping on the ball a little much, right?
So you wouldn't mind seeing him be patient first or second pitcher?
Yeah, at least. I'd like to maybe see a few pitches.
Swings at the first one. What about the AL East, Stu? It seems like Baltimore got off to that 7-0 start. Since then, they've lost 7 of 11. Is it as wide open as you thought it would be at the beginning of the year?
In a way, it feels a bit more open because, quite frankly, you always get concerned about a team in the beginning, specifically Toronto. I think we were looking at, and potentially Boston. You do one of those runs where you go 10-2, and they never look back, kind of thing. We see that every year or two in baseball. There's a team in one of the divisions, and that's the one thing to guard. You want to guard against a 2-9 start. And also a team getting off to one of these starts where they just look like a 90+ win team right off the bat. Obviously you can catch them, but it's just a lot of ground to make up.
On the ground to third, they hold the runners, and the throw across by Machado. So 1 out here, runners on second and third. as we're in the bottom half of the third inning. Jake Odorizzi's been working around a lot of deep counts and a pretty high pitch count through 3. The Rays need to capitalize, though, on one of these scoring opportunities.
Yeah, he seems a little problem with the split change. But tonight, fortunately, I think the whole bullpen's rested, which is the great part about going deep in the games for us starters. You know, the last couple times around, and what Erasmo's done. You know, to see what you know, they've been able to get into the 6th, even into the 7th inning, and you know, spread out the bullpen. So all the arms are there, and if he can go all out, and if we get, you know, 4 innings out of him, so be it.
Here's Corey Dickerson. This was one of the offseason acquisitions that has really started out well for the Rays. This guy has a different sound when the ball comes off his bat.
Plus, how about that 6-pitch walk last night? It was fun. Oh, we actually saw him in batting practice, and I was talking to the.
Did you see the one that almost hit the scoreboard?
I saw 2 hit the back wall, and it was, you know, I've been here all these years, whatever now, watching BP, and I remember Travis Lee used to take good batting practice, so it doesn't translate necessarily, but oh my gosh, they were high and majestic far off 2 of them off the back wall, and this he does not get cheated up there, right?
No, he doesn't, and a 2-0 count. He might get something here.
I think they're going to pitch around him.
You think so?
I would expect that. He's what a fresh. And they have a real number 4 hitter in there, and the guy's got this kind of pop. Hit it, you know, put it out on the wall the other way in the Yankee game the other day. And also to see Souza hit the ball that he hit out in Yankee Stadium into the 2nd deck towards the right field was, you know, in right field was, that's great. Yeah, now they off the end.
Good call on the pitch around.
Well, even me, right?
Well, what about, I know you were there at the game Saturday. What'd you think about the youngster, the 23-year-old from Washington State, Blake Snell?
Everything we would have imagined. The curveball and all. Clearly the command is still a little bit of an issue. You know, we've got a lot of good pitchers here, and that's the way we like it. Last year we had to go through all of them, and we went right down the lot. I mean, just picking up Erasmo last year was because we had some injuries and guys getting hurt. Fortunately, so far the pitchers have been taking all their starts, and it makes me feel good how we're going to look later on in the year. I saw Alex Cobb. He was feeling great. He threw off a mound today a bit. They said Benners is doing tremendously well, and that could be kind of, you know, we don't count on it, but it's the kind of thing that give a team a real shot in the arm come June, July, or August.
Some good news on Boxberger too, that he could be back soon.
Yeah, we forget, you know, basically our closers down, right? Like last year McGee was out for a while, but with all the other injuries, it had gotten lost in the sauce a little bit, and you know, not having him last year for a while. The one positive about having a guy like Boxberger down or having these guys coming back is that I don't get the running. That's fine. We like it.
To center field, all the way to the track, scoring 1 run for Forsythe. Miller gets to 3rd. The Rays take the lead.
You know, if that was Kiermaier on 2nd, he's halfway home already, right?
Well, Stu, go ahead and keep your scorebook updated. We appreciate the time as always, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank everybody for tuning in, and we're going to have a great season again, and enjoy the bats, enjoy the pitching, and come on out to the ballpark.
All right, guys.
All right, Todd, nice job there. It was a far-reaching visit with Stu Sternberg.
It was really good.
Right across the board.
Should have just finished off the inning, maybe started out the next half.
Well, kind of interrupted our respite up here.
Back to work.
Yeah. Hey, the Rays get around on that fly ball by Desmond Jennings. And that ball really had some great carry. Jones had to keep going back to get that one. So now Dickerson still at first. Miller advanced to 3rd. And here's Logan Morrison, who doubled his first time. Pitch is a strike, so Morrison now 4 for 4 against Jimenez. Brad Miller at 3rd. Dickerson at 1st. That's a ball. It's 1-1. There are the runners. Two and one. The Rays had threatened in the 1st and 2nd innings. Another threat in the 3rd. They've Pushed across a run on the sacrifice fly. Foul ball right at his feet. In the batter's box, takes it to 2-2. Forsythe opened the inning with a walk. Miller doubled off the changeup. Jennings driving in the run with a fly ball. And now full count on Morrison. The Orioles crowding Morrison in this at bat.
Last at bat, it was a 2-strike pitch that was away from Morrison. A little bit of elevation that he shot into left field. So this at bat trying to keep him from being able to extend those arms, which is what he wants to do.
3-2. He's out on strikes. And the Rays are finished in the third. The 3-2 curveball strikes him out. Rays get a run. We are through 3. It's now 1-0 Tampa Bay. The Rays hold a 1-0 lead on their first sacrifice fly of the year, delivered by Desmond Jennings. And here in the fourth, Chris Davis leads off for Baltimore. Jake Odorizzi hoping to limit his pitch count, but he's had a couple of high pitch count innings so far in the first 3. And he's behind Davis 2-0.
And that's been the big reason why. The inability to locate the fastball early in counts. A lot of 2-0, 2-1 counts.
That's a strike. 2-1.
The one thing that you can say is, despite that, Jake has held Baltimore, a very potent offense, off the scoreboard. That's the most important thing.
He comes back with a strike. And it's 2-2. Couple fastballs here. Oh, how about that? That left side open just fair. Davis is on his way to second, and he is safe. He got in sprawling over the bag. Miller, a diving attempt out there. So it's going to be a double for Davis, and we'll see what Kevin Cash wants to do.
Well, you could read Brad Miller's mouth coming in to give that ball to Jake Odorizzi. He said, "I got it." So we'll take a look, trying to be evasive, avoid the tag. Here comes Miller. Well, that hand gets in there, and then the tag. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was a really nice job by Chris Davis. He did get that left hand in there. Watch right here. Here's the swipe. Watch the left hand right up against the bag there, and then the tag on the leg. And he stayed on the bag. I can't really tell anything from there, but it certainly looked from that first angle that the left hand got to the bag before the tag was applied. Right there, left hand on the bag, tag to the thigh, and he stays on the bag. That was the right call.
A leadoff double in the fourth. The Rays are going to appeal at first, and they say he touched first all right. There's first base. The inside of the bag.
Clearly.
So another scoring opportunity. Mark Trumbo. Boy, that ball not hit very hard and just fair, and you knew it was trouble when it left the bat and that big shift was on. Davis picks up his first double of the year. Hot shot, base hit into left. Jennings up with it. Davis heads to the plate. Throw will come through, not in time, and down to second goes Trumbo.
Yeah, that was because Desmond Jennings airmailed everybody on the throw. You're trying to throw a guy out at the plate, and instead of going head high to the cutoff man, that ball had some air underneath it, and that makes it an easy read for Mark Trumbo, who ropes this ball in the hole. Now here comes the throw. No one can cut that. And Trumbo gets into second.
So just like that, the game is tied. Trumbo winds up at second. The pitch to J.J. Hardy is too high. Hardy doubled in the second inning. Upstairs. Breaking ball high, takes it to 2-0. Now there's ball 3. Fastball upstairs. Pedro Alvarez on deck. And ball 4. Hardy heads to first. Jim Hickey's going to head to the mound with 2 men on and nobody out. Here's your chance to get a steal, Rays fans. Tonight's steal of the evening features press level tickets for tomorrow's game versus this same Baltimore Orioles team for just $19. That's half the price. Available tonight only. So visit RaysBaseball.com/steal or call 888-FAN-RAYS for more information. So trouble, 2 men on, nobody out in the fourth. Pedro Alvarez will be the hitter. Rizzi struck him out, got him to chase a fastball up and got it by him. The 1 strikeout for Jake so far tonight. Up the middle and a base hit into center. Kiermaier charges. Trumbo's going to hold at third and the bases are loaded. Off speed and Alvarez went right back through the middle.
You could hear the bat crack, but Pedro Alvarez is a strong man, and he was able to get that back up the middle. Here it is. It's a split working its way off the plate. and right off the end of the bat, you can actually see the bat crack at the handle. But you see how he's defensed, and he's still able to push that ball into center field. And a wise move for Trumbo to hold up. Kiermaier would have pegged him.
Well, nobody out, and here is Jonathan Schoop. Schoop fouls it back. Strike one. As we mentioned the first time up, Schoop tends to be an aggressive hitter. The Rays would love to get a chance at a double play, but he hits the ball in the air a lot.
Well, this is where that split would come in. You know, if you could get some good finish on that pitch, you got a chance to get him to pound it into the ground.
That's a strike. And it's 0-2.
Well, now you can think about going for that strikeout.
Upstairs, 1-2. Caleb Joseph, the catcher, is on deck. And a pop-up. Miller will take care of that on the infield pop. So the Rays get the first out.
How about that? He jammed him with an off-speed pitch with the changeup. You don't see that very often.
Well, Caleb Joseph. He had a base hit. His first time up. Nice job covering that pitch by Casale. A run home. Davis opened with a double, scored on a base hit by Trumbo. Hardy walked. Alvarez singled with Trumbo advancing to third and holding there. Schoop has popped out. 1-0 the count to Caleb Joseph. Ground ball third, stays down. Longoria, Forsythe, 1. First base, 2. Rays get the double play. 5-4-3 and out around the horn. And they limit the Baltimore damage to just the 1 run. Well, Odorizzi, not a big ground ball guy, but he got a big ground ball there for the double play to get out of the inning. Bottom of the 4th coming, we're tied 1-1. Bottom of the 4th coming. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. First pitch here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Steven Souza Jr. takes it for a strike. That double play ball, the ground ball from Caleb Joseph, was the first ground ball out of the game for Jake Odorizzi.
It could not pick the better time to get it.
I mean, if you're Baltimore, you're either pulling your hair out or scratching your head vigorously. Ground ball to short. Hardy over the top with his throw. And Souza Jr. pointing in the bag, thinking Davis may have come off.
Well, the one thing that we've learned about this Baltimore Oriole ball club is if you can keep them in the yard, they have a hard time scoring. They just cannot piece together innings. And we just had a great example of that in the last half. I'm telling you, if this team is not hitting home runs, they struggle to score runs, period.
Yeah, and their ballpark's good for hitting home runs.
Sure.
And they've been pretty much tailored for that. There's a little nubber on the full swing by Kiermaier. Quick throw to first. That's close. And Machado throws him out. Well, that was quite a match right there on that little squibber. Machado with that great defensive ability he has, and Kiermaier's great speed. And here's how that play ended.
A little cue shot. How quickly on the run from glove to throwing hand. That's pretty.
Two gifted players right there in Machado and Kiermaier. With speed. Strike to Kurt Casale. Two. He's got a run on a sacrifice fly from Jennings in the 3rd. Brumbo's base hit scored Davis in the 4th. That's it so far. 1-2 the count on Kurt Casale. Into the dirt. Rays trying to get to the 500 mark. They're 9-10. The Blue Jays are 10-11, and they're trailing the White Sox in Toronto in the bottom of the 6th, 4-0. Chris Sale pitching that game for the White Sox.
Good luck on the comeback.
And now 3-2 to Casale.
Like to see what his record is when spotted a 4-run lead.
How about the White Sox? They're 14-6.
Well, Matt Latos, he's 4-0 with an ERA of under 1 still.
Casale is out on strikes. Missed the fastball. 3 up, 3 down. We head into the 5th inning with the Rays and the Orioles tied 1-1. headed into the 5th. Top of the order for Baltimore. Joey Rickard takes a strike. 90th pitch of the night made by Jake Odorizzi. Ground ball in position perfectly as Forsythe. One away. Shift pays off. Eddie Romero up in the Rays bullpen now. Starting to get loose. Adam Jones 0 for 2. Hit the ball to the warning track in center when Kiermaier made an outstanding catch on a ball that he hit there. Then he hit the ball on a line to left in the 3rd. Jennings caught that one. Fouls it up the right side out of play for a strike. Line drive center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. One hop in front of Kiermaier. So a base runner for Baltimore.
Well, then you start looking down through the lineup. Eddie Romero, maybe him for Chris Davis. Jim Hickey going to the mound right now, trying to figure out how best to get Manny Machado to hit the ball on the ground for another ground ball double play. Well, you'd love to get Jake Odorizzi through this 5th inning. Didn't think it was possible. A high pitch count after 3. The first 4 men for the Orioles reach base in the 4th, but he was able to get out of that, limit the damage.
Reminder tomorrow, Wednesday, it'll be Matt Moore and Chris Tillman. Our coverage begins at 6:30. To look at Odorizzi's pitch count tonight, with that 30 in the 2nd, followed by a 27 pitch 3rd inning. Put a dent into his plans to pitch deep into this game. Manny Machado lays off as the pitch drops low. Machado 7 of 21 lifetime with a couple of home runs off Odorizzi. Oh, they picked him off at first. Adam Jones picked off at first. Morrison dropping the tag on him. Chris Conroy on the call, and Jones not leaving just yet.
Well, there were 3 things at play here. First of all, Adam Jones lazy getting back to the bag. He doesn't have much of a lead. Look at that. He doesn't have that far to get back, and got back in lazily. The throw is on the money, and Morrison being left-handed, the catch and the tag is right there. You know, sometimes these guys, they'll take a short lead and just assume there's no way you're going to throw over against me because I don't have much of a lead. And so you could see that the mind wasn't working quickly there because there was no sense of urgency to get back to first base. And Buck Showalter, you know right now, he is steaming. Short lead and just not much urgency.
So a big pickoff there. Machado takes a pitch a little bit high, apparently. Two and 0 now. It's fouled back. 2-1.
Boy, that was big.
Yes, it was. Fly ball, center field, hanging up there for Kiermaier, and down go the Orioles. Pickoff in the middle. We're tied 1-1. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts Glory Ram. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Bottom of the 5th inning coming up. The Rays have the top of the order. Logan Forsythe takes the ball. That pickoff of Jones, the second pickoff of the year for Odorizzi. He had picked off Manny Machado in his outing against the Orioles in Baltimore. So both his pickoffs against the Orioles, getting Machado in Baltimore and getting Jones here.
That may have been the play that allowed him to finish that 5th inning without a ground ball double play. You wonder there if Machado is on with Davis at the plate, a couple runners on, Eddie Romero warming up, and the pitch count elevated, if that would have ended his night. But boy, oh boy, a big pickoff, retire Machado, and there you go.
Chopped to short. Hardy's throw scooped at first by Davis. And they retire Logan Forsythe.
He was kind of moving backwards up the middle and really didn't step into that throw. Was more concerned with getting rid of it quickly. Chris Davis helps him out on the other end. See how he's kind of moving to his side and back just a hair, and now you got to throw it without getting a lot into it.
Miller loops it into center. That's going to fall and is kicked away by Jones. Miller makes a big turn and decides to hold at first. It appeared for a moment when Jones kicked it that Miller might get an extra base, but he hangs on.
I wonder what that play was anyway. Just trying to knock that ball down. Soft serve into center. Forget the glove. Just, he did recover nicely and actually made a good throw into second.
One out single. Now it's Evan Longoria. Strike one. Rays have had men on base in every inning except the 4th. 0-2. Baltimore with men on base in every inning except the 1st. And it's a 1-1 ball game. Miller on for the second time, 2 for 3. Ooh, up and in a bit right there to Evan. Ball, 2 strikes. There goes Miller. The pitch, swing and a miss. Throw down, and he is safe. He got in there head first. First steal of the year for Brad Miller.
Second for the Rays, 7 out of 8 on the season against Jimenez. Good jump, gets in ahead of the throw. Unfortunately for the Rays, Longoria went down on strikes. But you know what? You gotta give Kevin Cash credit in this ball game of missed opportunities. Now the Rays trying to create something.
Well, you're in a tie game at home. Why not?
Yeah,
let's be aggressive.
That's right. Listen, they're aggressive at the plate, aggressive on the base paths. Try to dictate your own fate instead of sitting back and watching it happen.
Corey Dickerson taking the first pitch for a strike.
It's gotten into him.
Well, he was intentionally walked in the third. So
he had a 6-pitch walk last night where he didn't swing once.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
And down to a knee.
We were just about to say that he may be the most disciplined hitter on this swinging Braves lineup, and then he unleashes that.
And doesn't disappoint. Right down to the knee. Listen, he's taken a number of pitches. He's got to get his money's worth.
Enough of that. Yeah.
That's right.
DHing, he's not going to go to the plate and stand there. Fouls it back into the screen, fighting it off.
Well, he's got a chance to give the Rays the lead here.
Desmond Jennings hoping he'll get a chance to hit in the inning. It's wide. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two outs, a man at second. 1-2 the count on Dickerson. Into the dirt, and it's blocked by Joseph. Now 2-2. Kenny Romero continues to keep loose in the bullpen. And Davis due to lead off. Davis, Trumbo, and Hardy in the 6th. Romero at the ready. Long look. Dickerson steps out as Jimenez steps back. Popped up, foul ball. That's going to carry toward the stands and out of play. And it gives Dickerson another chance here against Jimenez. Jimenez was 12-10 last year in 32 starts for Baltimore. Gave up 20 home runs. Finished the year with an earned run average of a little over 4. And the count is now full. Dickerson got down in the count, now 3-2. And a cut and a miss. He's out on strikes. Off speed pitch, got it. The Rays leave a man. We're tied 1-1 through 5.
That's what we saw tonight from Jake Odorizzi. Command was elusive, a lot of deep and bad counts, but guess what? He held the Baltimore Orioles to just 1 run, utilizing his defense. This was the 1 base hit, but this inning could have been a lot worse than it was. Bases loaded, nobody out, a pop up to the infield for out number 1, and then this play right here, the double play to get out of the inning. Now you'd have more work to do. Got a runner aboard, 1 out, the heart of the lineup up, quick feet, good throw, a nice tag. He picks off Adam Jones. He then retired Manny Machado, and that would end his night. But I'll tell you what, you got to tip your hat to Jake Odorizzi. Not going to be happy with the final line, not going to be happy with the pitch count, but boy, did he work hard and do his job ultimately, giving his team a chance to win.
2 ground ball outs. That double play off the bat of Caleb Joseph, the first one. Then he got Rickard to open the 5th. Out of the shift on a ground ball. That was it. And he battled and leaves this game tied 1-1. Eddie Romero in here facing Chris Davis with a count of a ball and a strike.
You know, looking back at those highlights on that double play ground ball is something that was tough to see in live action. You're just waiting to see the Rays, can they finish it off? After we watch this out.
Tossed to first by Miller.
But that ground ball to third base to Evan Longoria hit the seam. It hit the seam between the edge of the infield and the dirt, and it stayed down. You know, Evan was backing up, expecting to play a hop. The ball stayed down, and he had to get his glove down there and make that play. So a little bit more difficult than it even looked in real time. What's new?
Yep. Gold Glover down there. Here's Mark Trumbo. Trumbo 2 for 2, a couple of singles. One and one to count. Steve Gelt's busy in the bullpen, and there's a cut and a miss. Trumbo behind 1 and 2. Boy, I'll tell you, you get a guy out there who throws 96, 97, and he throws one of those to you, a little slider.
And there's been a couple of off-speed pitches in this at bat. I think Trumbo frustrated, like, where's the 97? We'll get to it.
A little close right there. 2 and 2.
And we've seen the slider and the changeup in this at bat to go along with that hard fastball.
And a cut and a miss. Well, how about that? I mean, Eddie Romero comes out here and pitches his way to striking out Trumbo.
Could you have envisioned this a year ago?
No.
No. I agree. Making strides, becoming extremely valuable out of that pen for the Rays. Here's the breaking ball. 86 straight down.
There's a strike to J.J. Hardy. Hardy with a double and a walk. One ball, one strike. One and two.
Not fair.
I'll tell you.
Not fair.
How fun is that?
For everybody
except the hitter.
With the guy with the big stick in his hand, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Up the middle, right by the bag, and Forsythe is there to throw out Hardy. 1, 2, 3, go the Orioles. Rays coming in to hit in this tie game. First Geico great moment. It was on this date, 2012, when the pride of Montgomery, Texas, Brandon Allen belts a pinch-hit walk-off home run in his first official at-bat with the Rays. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and Desmond Jennings looks at a breaking ball for ball 1. Jennings, Morrison, and Souza Jr. against Ubaldo Jimenez. That's a strike, 1-1. Rays got their run in the 3rd. Baltimore a run in the 4th. Two one to count. 2-2. 32-year-old right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. And a swing and a miss at the fastball.
Change eye levels. Everything before that was down, down, down. You see 4 pitches down, and then with 2 strikes, he pops one up. He's able to get you.
Well, no strikeouts. 2 outs into the 4th inning by Jimenez, and now the 4 of the last 5 outs have come on strikeouts.
Well, he started to break out the changeup, the straight changeup, on top of the fact that he throws the split. We talked about that last night with Gausman, who throws the split and the straight change.
And Morrison out in front and over that pitch, strike 1.
Establishing the fastball early and then really getting into a good mix as the game moves on.
It's outside, says Ron Culpa. Ground ball foul. It's 1-2. Jimenez did pick up a strikeout of Morrison in the 3rd. So he had 1 before starting this run of strikeouts. 4 of the last 5 outs being strikeouts. 5 in the game. That followed the double by Morrison in the 2nd. And we're 2-2 with the count now. Fly ball back into center. Jones will go back just to the edge, and as he hits the edge of that warning track, he makes the catch for the 2nd out. 2 up, 2 down. Time now to check in with Emily Austin. Emily.
Sorry about that, Dwayne. An update on Alex Cobb. He threw another bullpen today of 25 fastballs off the mound. He will take the next step on Friday and throw about 35 pitches, mixing in some changeups, which he has started to throw off flat ground. He said so little ways away from throwing his curveball from flat ground. He will continue with this schedule, throwing 2 bullpens a week. He told us if he didn't have these days to look forward to, this mental grind would be a lot more difficult. We're still looking at about June until Cobb faces hitters.
Well, that's good news. Progress seems to be steady. There's a base hit into left off Souza's bat. He's on for the 2nd time. Boy, just to see Alex Cobb on any mound and throwing off that mound is great news. So slow and steady with his recovery.
Yeah, well, you know that the Rays and their training staff are going to be cautious. I echo your thoughts. Seeing Alex Cobb on a mound it's been far too long. But at the same time, at least now with him throwing, and he kind of alluded to it with, getting to throw a couple times a week and looking forward to those days. Those are big milestones for him. Something to look forward to every couple of days as he continues the long march back. And I'm sure he'll come back stronger than ever.
Souza back in, continuing a hitting streak to 6 with that base hit. Kevin Kiermaier in the box. Another move to first. Souza certainly a threat to run. Rays have picked up a couple stolen bases tonight. Kiermaier did go. That's a strike. 2 outs, a man at first, and 1 strike the count. Tapper, that's a foul ball. 0-2. Erasmo Ramirez in the Rays bullpen. Michael Gibbons, right-hander out of Tampa, throwing in the bullpen for Baltimore. Back in Souza Jr.
Well, you've got to be worried about the stolen base if you're the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, Ubaldo Jimenez has been victimized a couple times already here tonight. Teams have been running at him all season, and this would be the perfect chance to do it.
Long one back into deep right field. Trumbo all the way to the wall. Goodbye. Kevin Kiermaier unloads on an 0-2 pitch. It's his 3rd home run of the year, and the Rays take a 3-1 lead.
A couple of 0-2 mistakes here tonight from Jimenez. One to Logan Morrison early in the game, and then this one to Kiermaier. Coming in, that ball stays inner third, but Kiermaier gets the hands through quickly, and that's the result.
A cut and a miss by Casale, strike 1. From Kiermaier, a couple of home runs on the last road trip. 1 in Boston and 1 in New York, and now unloads here on an 0-2 pitch tonight to give the Rays a 2-run lead. One and one to count to Casale. With 2 outs, Souza Jr. singled, split the attention of Jimenez, and the 0-2 fastball hit out of here. Now Casale called out on strikes. The Rays are finished, but they pick up 2 on the home run off the bat of Kevin Kiermaier. 2 runs, 2 hits. At the end of 6, it's 3-1 Tampa Bay. The ball hit by Adam Jones. Hits one out in the bottom of the 6th with a man on to give the Rays a 3-1 lead. And we're moving into the 7th. Pedro Alvarez, the first man up, and he faces Enny Romero. First pitch is fouled out of play. Romero had a 1-2-3 6th in relief of Jake Odorizzi.
Boy, that'll be a pitch that Ubaldo Jimenez goes over in his mind for a while. I mean, and if he doesn't, he should.
Ground ball, that's going to go through the left side. He got it through the shift on the other side. And Alvarez has his second hit. Well, let's take a look at all that from the bottom of the 6th inning.
Tie ball game. You're getting late. This is where Kevin Kiermaier can hurt you. And if you're going to go, and they've pounded him in there during the course of the game, he saw some pitches in. So if you're going to throw an 0-2 fastball in, it has to be the mindset. I'm either going to knock him down or hit him with it. Cannot be out over the plate or anywhere near that inner part. Not a smart pitch.
Pitching change coming for the Rays. Back in a moment. In the top of the 7th. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Orestes will be breaking down Mark Trumbo, and we will hear from Matt Moore, who will be on the mound tomorrow night for the Rays in the wrap-up game of the series against Baltimore. Erasmo Ramirez now in the game, and Jonathan Scope, the first man Ramirez faces. Ninth appearance with 4 wins for Ramirez. 4-1. He's behind Scope 2-0. Big cut. After the fastball and missed it, it's 2-1. Erasmo in the game here last night for an inning and a third. Picked up a strikeout. Ground ball outside of third. The count goes to 2-2. Ground ball shortstop. Miller, Forsythe 1, first base 2. Rays get the double play, 6-4-3.
Well, wait until you see the turn by Logan Forsythe. The feed from Brad Miller was a little bit wide and a little bit low, but Logan's going to stay on the bag, make a nice athletic play to finish this double play off. Oh, that is nice.
So the Rays, who got a big double play in the 4th, turned a double play in the 7th inning. The pitch to Caleb Joseph lifted into left. Jennings is there. Ramirez does the job. 7th inning stretch time. 3-1 Rays. Kiermaier's 2-run homer in the 6th, giving the Rays a 3-1 lead. Jake Odorizzi pitched the front 5. Romero for an inning, and Ramirez finished off the 7th. Vinny Romero, the pitcher of record for the Rays, and the pitcher of record for Baltimore, Waldo Jimenez, is finished for the evening. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. He walked 3 and struck out 6, made 102 pitches. Michael Gibbons comes on to make his 10th appearance of the year.
Getting some work in.
He has a very good arm and throws a first pitch strike.
And you don't usually see that kind of velocity from that arm angle. You think about Darren O'Day and his effectiveness from down there, but not quite with this velo.
1-1.
And on top of the deception of the arm angle, he also gives you that little half spin, half turn in his setup, trying to hide it just a little bit longer.
2-1. It's wide. 3 balls and a strike. Right side, Trumbo back to his left, and he can't reach it. Bounce to the wall. Forsythe will head into second with a double. His second double tonight. This one toward the right field corner.
Well, he's run Trumbo to his right. Now he beats him to his left. Elusive with those deep fly balls.
7 doubles on the year for Forsythe. And Brad Miller up in the number 2 spot tonight, has 2 hits. There's a strike call. He doubled to right on a changeup in the 3rd. Dropped a base hit into center field in the 5th inning. Pops it up, foul ball, that will carry out a play. 2 strikes the count. To look at the Rays lineup, what it's done tonight. Rays trying to get to the 500 mark for the first time since they were 2-2 upstairs. Turn, nothing happening back at second. Texas batting in the bottom of the 5th, leading the Yankees 6-0. Turn, but nothing. Nobody covering at second. Forsythe back in. A 1-2 count. Runs, 7 hits for the Rays. A run, 8 hits for Baltimore. Two and two. Count's going to go all the way to 3-2. The fastball plenty on it, but wide. Velocity in the mid-90s from Gibbons.
They're having trouble controlling it right now.
Back a third, a foul ball out of play.
And what a bonus too for Brad Miller. You know, you get these guys that come in, these specialists with unique arm angles, not real easy, but in this instance, able to work a deep count, see that release point time and time and time again, and hopefully get a little bit more comfortable at the plate.
Three-two again, and it's pop foul. Machado after it. That's going to stay playable, and he makes the catch. So Miller fouls out. We'll see what Evan Longoria can do in this situation. The Rays not only have had base runners in every inning tonight, with the exception of the 4th, they've had men in scoring position in every inning except the 4th. They got 1 run home in the 3rd and 2 on the home run by Kiermaier in the 6th. And for Kiermaier in that inning, a runner at first was a man in scoring position.
Well, you think about too the chances that the Orioles had. Been a very frustrating night offensively. Teams putting themselves in position to score runs. Not many coming across the plate.
One strike to count. That one running away with good velocity on it.
Wow. I mean, that's.
Yeah, how about that pitch?
95 from down there.
Pickoff play at second, and looking in, Gabe Morales makes the call, safe. Logan Forsythe opened the inning with a double. He's on second with one out. This one is popped up. Machado into foul territory, makes the catch, just foul. So Longoria is the second out. Now Corey Dickerson will get a shot. Dickerson intentionally walked into third. 0 for 2 otherwise. And they're not going to pitch to him this time either. Desmond Jennings on deck. Second intentional walk of the night issued. Dickerson will be at first with Forsythe at second for Desmond Jennings. Well, Desmond got the first run home on a sacrifice fly to center field in the third. It was the first sacrifice fly of the year for the Rays. Two on, two out. First pitch is a strike, a fastball. Cut and a miss. Rays 0 for 9 tonight with the runners in scoring position, and they hold a 3-1 lead. A foul ball. So we'll see another pitch on 2 strikes. Difference in this game, Kiermaier's 2-run home run in the 6th. We're now in the bottom of the 7th. And a foul tip strikeout. Jennings out on strikes. Rays lead 2 and lead 3-1. Sun is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By St. Luke's Cataract and Laser Institute, world-class care right in Tampa Bay. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Second game of this series, we go to the 8th. Joey Rickard leads it off for Baltimore. Erasmo Ramirez's pitch is bounced towards short from the hole. Miller's throw is not in time. And Rickard has an infield hit.
Boy, I mean, just placement. That's all that is. Going to be a very difficult play if it's able to get by Evan Longoria, and it's just able to do that by that much.
So there's the infield hit. 9th hit of the night for the Orioles. Adam Jones comes to the plate. Outside. Ramirez faced Jones last night. As you look at Brad Brock in the bullpen for Baltimore. Erasmo got Jones on a comebacker to the mound last night. A popper down the right side. Long run for Souza Jr. and he can't catch up to it. Ball down in the bullpen. He had a lot of ground to cover and just could not get there.
Good jump, good speed, navigating, did everything he could.
Ball and a strike to count. Into the dirt and a stop by Casale to keep the runner at first.
Boy, that one looked like it was destined to get by Casale or at least be ricocheted towards the Rays dugout. The changeup that was yanked. But look at him get those hands outside the body, and he's able to rattle that thing and keep it in front. That was a nice job on a tough pitch.
Ground ball. Miller backhands. Out at second. Out at first. Nicely done. Boy, that is a pretty double play turned by the Rays right here.
You know what? This is a great benefit of the new slide rule, and Logan Forsythe having the confidence to hang in at second base. You know, in years past, there's a real good chance that he's going to get flipped here pretty violently, especially in this type of a situation. But the slide comes in short, and he's able to just step and then kind of throw, open himself up and make that throw. Doesn't go past the bag. You know, in years past, you can imagine that Rickard was coming through there looking to put Logan out into left field. Not the case this year.
So the double play ball erases that leadoff infield single. Manny Machado takes a strike. A shot down the left field line. Is that going to stay fair? That's a foul ball. Well, Machado pulled the hands in and hit that one at home run distance, but pulled it foul.
You know, Erasmo Ramirez, I think he's surprised. I am too. That ball off the bat or out of his hand looked like it was in far enough to not have it come that close to being a home run. That ball was in off the plate.
1-2.
I mean, you get a ball to that spot and you feel like, well, if he hits it hard, it's going to be foul.
Yep.
And it was, but it's going to be way more foul than that.
Yep.
I mean, it speaks to Machado's hand-eye coordination and the hand speed.
Well, you can see where that pitch was on Fox track right there.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Really? Two and two. And you're right about the point in the middle of that double play. Forsythe confidence that he could stay in there and live to tell the story.
It's
not
made a
always
difference.
the case in the past.
Could you imagine? Right through the bag right there.
Headed toward the middle. Forsythe across his body with the throw. Machado's out of there. No runs a hit. Double play, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Rays. Erasmo Ramirez for throwing that double play ball. Nice job out of the bullpen for Erasmo. Our Quicken Loans rocket arms. Look at this tonight for the Rays. Jake Odorizzi 5 innings. Enny Romero an inning. And Erasmo Ramirez 2 innings. He comes in. Engineers not 1 but 2 ground ball double plays.
Boy, making pitches when you need to. That's what the Rays pitching staff has done here tonight. Holding this Oriole team to 1 run after shutting them out a night ago.
Brad Brock, the 3rd pitcher for Baltimore. Logan Morrison faces him, and the pitch is a strike. Rays have Morrison's left-handed bat, then Souza Jr., and then Kiermaier's left-handed bat due. And Brock has been pretty good against lefties. In fact, he held left-handed hitters to a 184 average last year. Kind of a right-handed left-hander for Buck Showalter. Ground ball to the right side from the ship. Tossed to first in time to get Logan Morrison. 4-3 out of that one. And tomorrow it will be Matt Moore on the hill for the Rays. Where coverage begins at 6:30. Chris Tillman pitching for Baltimore.
Doing some maintenance on that chin. Cleaning that thing right up. Oh my gosh. That's some good camera work right there late in the ball game.
In living color.
Went through that whole bottle of water. Getting ready for tomorrow night, man.
Yep. Part of the process. Get yourself in the groove.
Got to clean that quasi beard.
Well, you're going to be starting tomorrow. It's got to be ready. Presentable. That's a strike.
I just love the fact that we couldn't cut away from it. We're just staying on that for good.
Turning into a human interest story. 1-1 the count here on Souza Jr. He held up. 2-1. a strike on the outside corner. 2-2. All three of the runs for the Rays charged to the Baltimore starter, Ubaldo Jimenez. Souza's out on strikes. 2 outs in the 8th. Coming up, Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Todd and Orestes will anchor the coverage. We'll have the Kevin Cash managerial press conference and Emily Alston along with interviews from the clubhouse. All coming up upon the completion of our game here tonight. Kevin Kiermaier gave the Rays the lead with a home run, and that's a trend for him over this year and back into last year. Want to know, 8 of his last 10 home runs have come with the game tied or the Rays trailing, and he's given them the lead. Tonight, a 2-run shot to break a 1-1 tie and give the Rays a 3-1 lead.
0-2 count. 0-2 count, and Jimenez goes to the one spot that Kiermaier could hurt him, and he did.
2-1 now. It evens the count. Fastball fouled away. That's a mid-90s fastball there. Two. Kiermaier fouls that one right at the feet of the plate umpire. Saw there a moment ago the middle of the lineup due for Baltimore in the 9th. Alex Kiermaier and Xavier Cedeno have both been up. The popper left side. Machado into foul territory, gloves it. The Rays are out in the 8th. We go to the 9th. It's a 3-1 ball game. Tampa Bay. Two-run ball game. Rays 3, Baltimore 1. Moving into the 9th inning. The difference, Kevin Kiermaier's home run, a 2-run shot in the 6th inning, and that great catch he made back in the 1st inning, contributing with both his glove and his bat tonight. We go to the 9th. Xavier Cedeno is in the game with the big left-handed bat of Chris Davis leading off the 9th. Cedeno faced him last night and got him on a fly ball to center. First pitch is a strike. It was a prolonged at bat, went to 3-2. And Kiermaier made a nice catch last night on the ball hit by Davis. Hop fly, shallow center. It's Miller, the shortstop, making the catch. And the shift on.
That was a pitch that, well, you face him 2 nights in a row. A lot of cutters and curveballs away last night. That's a front door cutter. Surprises him, gets the out.
So the Rays will make another change for Kiermaier. With Mark Trumbo due up and J.J. Hardy to follow. Cedeno getting Chris Davis for the first out. And so for the 2nd straight night, the Rays, following the starter, go the Romero, Ramirez, Cedeno to Kiermaier combination out of the bullpen.
Well, it's been working. I mean, that's the formula.
Trumbo with 2 singles tonight. He drove in the Baltimore run in the 4th.
Well, and not afraid to play the matchups either. We saw that last night. Just continue to change pitchers out in the 9th inning to get the job done. And Kiermaier may have a chance to get 2 outs here.
He retired Trumbo last night, 3rd to 1st to end the game. Throws him a strike, trying to get him for the 2nd out in the 9th in this game tonight. Two and one. White Sox beat Toronto 10-1. Chris Sale worked 8. He is now 5-0. Adam Eaton, Avisail Garcia, and Deanna Navarro hit home runs for the White Sox. Edwin Encarnacion hit one for the Blue Jays. 10-1 White Sox over the Jays. Three and one to count. Big cut and a miss there, 3-1. That fastball mid-90s, and the count is full. And the foul ball. A little bit of that one. Texas leads New York 8-1. That game is in Texas in Arlington in the top of the 7th inning. Boston a big lead in Atlanta, 11-2 in the top of the 9th. Swing and a miss. Trumbo is out of there. Fastball again, mid-90s. That's out number 2.
Well, he just reared back there the last few and just powered that fastball into the heart of the zone. Forget corners. How about this? Just right down the middle. And he gets it right by the Orioles slugger.
J.J. Hardy. The pitch is a strike. Hardy with a double and a walk. Last time grounded out to second. Inside, 1-1. Two outs, bases empty. Ground ball third. Longoria backs up. Long throw is there. The Rays are winners. Hardy out third to first. And the Rays have taken the first 2 games of this series, winning last night 2-0. And tonight, 3-1 the final. On a night when the Rays went 0 for 10 with men in scoring position, the Orioles grounded into 3 double plays, and the Rays win it 3-1. 3-7-0 with 8 left for the Rays. 1-9-0, 5 men left for Baltimore. Eddie Romero will pick up his first major league win. He worked an inning plus in relief of Jake Odorizzi, so Romero, the winner, is first in the big leagues. Jimenez takes the loss. His record is 1-2. And coming in to finish it off, Kiermaier again tonight, as he did last night. Alex Kiermaier picks up the save. Took 2 hours and 44 minutes to play this game before 10,988. So the Rays, with a combination out of the bullpen that they used last night, are successful again tonight. The home run by Kevin Kiermaier gave him the lead in the 6th inning, and they make that stand up 3-1. Todd Callis standing by with Kevin Kiermaier right now.
Dwayne, thanks. Kevin, you guys get the first 2 in this series against the first place team in your division, and you get back to 500 for the first time in a while. Has to feel good.
It feels good. Anytime you get an in-division opponent like this, these guys have been playing good. Anytime you know, we can get a lead on these guys and try to preserve it is huge for us. Jake Odorizzi did a great job tonight, especially when things.
This is heavy. Oh!
No, that's nothing. No, I was saying the silent part of the night was that big inning when they had bases loaded and they only got 1 run out of that, and then you know, we capitalized late in the game, and we missed a few opportunities there early in the game with runners in scoring position, but baseball is a crazy game, and that's why you play 9 innings. So we did enough to win tonight, and
Great win.
I guess nothing.
Nothing.
You know, baseball is a game, like you said, a crazy game. The first time you had an opportunity, he got the better of you. The second time, Jimenez gets ahead of you 0-2. What happens then? What are you trying to do there?
I just want to put the ball in play and, you know, just trying to help the offense any way I can. And, you know, I wish I had those other 2 at-bats back, and he left a fastball somewhat over the plate that I could do something with. And I'm just glad I backspin it enough to get out of here to put the team ahead there late. But this is such a frustrating game, and that homer couldn't have happened at a better time because I was not happy at all with my previous at-bats.
We were talking to Boston after that big home run in extra innings, and I said it seems like all your home runs are big. I looked it up. 8 of your last 10 have been when your team's trailed or tied and given the team the lead. That's the time you want to hit them, right?
Yeah, you want to be clutch as you can. You want to have that gene in you, and I'm spoiled by look at number 3, Evan Longoria, for the past 2 years, and watching him do it. We all picture ourselves being in that situation. Anytime you can actually do it, it's a great feeling, and your team just has so much momentum going there on out.
Final thing, you get a nice catch right out of the gates against the guy who used to have the Gold Glove. Nice when you make a play, especially when it's a guy who plays your position.
You know, Adam Jones has taken away more hits for me than anyone I can think of in the big leagues so far. So for me to do it on him was extra special. I'm curious to see what he'll have to say tomorrow while we're stretching, because we always talk to each other before the game. But I know he's taken at least 3 or 4 extra base hits away from me in my career so far. So I'm happy that I could give him that treatment right back.
Nice job tonight, KK. Thanks. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Todd. It's a 3-1 final here. The Rays now will move up a couple of spots in the standings. They'll be a game and a half behind Baltimore, still in first place. They'll jump ahead of Toronto. The Rays will run 3rd in the AL East. We'll be with you tomorrow, 6:30. Our coverage begins for the wrap-up game of this series. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, this is Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays Live, the postgame next.